Yo, what's going on? It's your boy Man Down Zoe. Man Down Sports co-host of Full Panel Friday, but this is not that. This is Bird's Eye View. This is my podcast. I am streaming, however, to the Man Down Sports channel just to gain some traffic a little bit. Make sure you subscribe to my personal channel, Bird's Eye View Pod on YouTube. I will be putting out consistent content from here on out. I know I'm late, but better late than never. Never late is better. We'll be here for the rest of the season or whatever. I just rhyme. I got bars. Y'all hear the beats in the background. I got bars. Anyway, thank you. Like, comment, subscribe, share. Check my channel out. Check all of our channels out, which will probably be in my description as well. Definitely in the Man Down Sports description. But yeah, I'm gonna be talking about the Hawks and the Falcons, man. If our OG members and supporters remember, I used to do this probably like a year and a half ago. I want to start it back, especially now that basketball season is starting and football season is in full swing, and we starting to see people try to separate and see who the real contenders are. So I'm interested in that, and let's get right into it. Falcons are not real contenders. They're not, and that's my squad. I love them, but just calling it what it is. You cannot go on a 3-game winning streak, come home, building all this buzz. Kirk Cousins saying, walk in your trap and take over your trap. He's singing bankroll. He going to other people's stadiums and balling. He's swag surfing. You know, he building the buzz. The media is starting to talk. And I think that was the downfall. We came back home. We looked like trash. We came out flat, and we got drugged 34-14 by the Seattle Seahawks. And I'm going to be honest, the score is not indicative of how bad the Falcons looked. And I'm being so serious. It was just from the opening snap, from the first drive, we get 3 false start calls. One of them on Jake Matthews, who's the wily veteran, doesn't miss many games. How you can't have those type of mistakes and be a well-oiled machine. Ryan Newsel had one. Kyle Pitts had one. We end up punting. We came out flat immediately. It was easy to see that A.J. Terrell was not able to hang with DK Metcalf at all. He was taking his lunch the entire time until he got hurt. Geno Smith had zero pressure on him, which we'll talk about later. And any quarterback that we face has pretty much faced that same thing. We have zero pressure getting on any quarterbacks this season. Some high points, though. Bijan looked good. Of course, he's starting to show what he can do. Tyler Algier and his only limited carries look good. I think he went to the locker room, but I'm not sure what his injury designation is now. But either way it go, he looked decent. Kurt didn't look bad. He didn't look great either. He did have 2 picks, one of them which is not his fault. One of them, Drake London, you just have to catch that ball. It went straight through your hands. You can't allow that to happen. But he also had a turnover, a fumble, and, you know, that's an offensive line issue, not picking up the blitz. He didn't see it coming, got smacked from his blind side, fumbled the ball. They picked it up and take it in the end zone. Right when it looked like Atlanta could possibly be driving and maybe making this a 1-score game again. Didn't happen. Either way it goes, the biggest things that I see is I think that we are starting to smell ourselves. Honestly, they were talking about us in the media. We lead in the division, which we still are, because everybody in the NFC South got smacked up this week. The Falcons lost big. The Ravens beat the hell out of the Bucks. The Panthers lose bad every week. The Saints lost bad last Thursday night. Like, it was just ridiculous for our division, but since we are the head of it, that's what we have to focus on. We're still ahead of it, and we got a big matchup coming up this week. But yeah, man, let's get into some of these stats right here. As you can see, Kirk Cousins, 24, 35, 232, 1 touchdown, 2 picks. I told you about, one of those is really his responsibility. The other one, Drake, you got to catch that ball. Bijan, 100-yard game, 1 touchdown. He's starting to come on, especially for those fantasy owners. Tyler Algier, like I said, limited carries, 5. I know he went in the locker room, but with the way that he played against the Panthers, he needs to see 15 to 20 carries a game, and him and Bijan can actually split it 50-50 for the success of the team. I know you want to make that pick look justified, and Bijan is a hell of a player, a game changer, actually, but you got to incorporate Tyler Algier because he's shown every time he gets consistent carries, he can produce, running through people, breaking tackles, just not being easy to take down. And you need that to complement a Bijan Robinson who's super duper shifty. Not easy to take down either, but they are different running styles that complement each other actually very well. Kyle Pitts led Falcons in receiving. I don't think he's done that one time this season. Drake London, 6 for 63. He's been pretty consistent. He's been getting touchdowns. I think this might be his 4th or 5th of the year, but he has to have that catch that goes through his hand when we're driving. For the Seahawks, Geno Smith was decent. decent, very clean game. No picks, no turnovers, 2 touchdowns, 200 yards, not crazy in the yardage category, but 18 for 28. That's solid. Jackson Smith and Jigba completed a 35-yard pass. That's the type of day it was for the Seahawks. They got wide receivers throwing 35-yard passes. K9, Kenneth Walker has 14 carries, 69 yards in a touchdown. He had a 20-yard run. I believe that was the touchdown. But he also had a receiving touchdown where I think Caden Ellis got cooked in coverage, if I'm not mistaken. Geno Smith, 4 carries, 15 yards. Not much of a threat there. But DK, like I said before, AJ Terrell, 2 years ago, I was singing his praises, saying he's about to be a top 5, maybe even top 3 corner in this league. And then the 2 years after that, and then, of course, we know we paid him this offseason. He's looked pedestrian at best. I dare to say Mike Hughes, our number 2 corner, who we had questions about going into the season, probably looks better than him now. And that's saying something, because Mike Hughes wasn't even on the radar as that number 2 corner last year. For me, he was just a replacement guy in my eyes. But at the end of the day, Mike Hughes has been solid in tackling, and he showed some coverage ability. Really, this game, they was trying AJ. They wasn't going to Mike's side too much, and that tells you everything you need to know. We know AJ has trouble with those big, strong, fast, physical receivers, but I don't think I've seen him look this bad consistently in one game since the national championship, when he was going up against that ridiculous show that was LSU during that time. Yeah, so as far as stats go, that's pretty much it. Nothing too crazy. Nobody went crazy on either team, but the score, it's what it is. We can not go crazy and still beat a team by 20 points. That's not a team I would consider a contender. And a large reason why I don't think we're ready to be contenders is because the main thing that we lack right now is a pass rush. We lack a pass rush. We don't have any. We're 6 sacks, I think we have this season. That is league worst in sacks. Acquired Matt Judon, still league worst in sacks going into week 8, week 9, going into the second half of the season. That's unacceptable. No real contender can contend if you're not even. And not only that, pass rush win rate is 34%. That's absolutely ridiculous. That's bottom 6 of the league. We're not getting no pressure on the quarterback. Geno was sacked one time, and the one time that he was sacked was because he botched the snap, dropped it on the ground, fell on the ball, and someone touched him, and they gave him credit for a sack. That is ridiculous. Why can't we generate a pass rush? Why can't we generate a pass rush? I think that we don't have the personnel to create consistent pass rush. I think we missed on some draft picks. I think we missed on some free agents as far as pass rush goes. I don't think Matt Judon was a miss. I think that we needed to trade for something. We needed to get somebody who is a consistent pass rusher, and he's that. But if he's the only one, then you can definitely scheme for him. I'm questioning Jimmy Lake. I'm questioning Zach Robinson sometimes when it comes to offensive, but Jimmy Lake, I'm questioning, trying to see what he sees and what he's trying to accomplish when we don't have a pass rush and we haven't had one. That means nothing has changed. That is scary. Whole different personnel. That means whole different coaching staff. That means you may not have the personnel to generate a good pass rush consistently, especially on an individual basis. 34% win rate is ridiculous. Like, that's not a good defense. Even if our back half on the defensive side has been pretty damn good, with Jesse Bates and Justin Simmons. They had their errors, but we know they're good safeties. Mike Hughes has been solid, like I said. We're not generating any pass rush, and that's making it really, really tough for the DBs to consistently cover. Like I said, Matt Judon, great trade, great signing. You have to be able to get to the quarterback and finish. Nobody on the other side is able to do that. Lorenzo Carter hadn't been able to do that when he was starting. Arnold Ebiketie, second-round pick 2 years ago, has not looked like we wanted him to look by now. He was supposed to be the pass rush guy. He was a pass rush doctor. He was a guy that could get to the quarterback consistently, and I don't know whether it's scheme and him having a couple of different coordinators or whatever it is. He just has not been able to do that on a consistent basis. That's the biggest thing that I see, and I don't know how we're going to fix it other than personnel. There were talks about Myles Garrett, Max Crosby being available because their teams are trash right now. I would do it. I mean, if you're serious about trying to be a contender this year and you see this deficiency and it's this bad, you got to swing for the fences if you really want to contend. If you just chilling and you want to see what happens next year and you want to build through the draft, then by all means, stay right here. We may win 9 games, maybe even 10. Who knows? But I don't think we are a real threat to win it all. And I think that's the goal. So if you want to get better when you have a chance to steal the division, because, you know, it's a tight race once again in the NFC South, I think you get the personnel to do it, especially with the next game that we have. We'll talk about that in a minute. The next game that we have is against the guys who are right behind us in the division, which is the Tampa Bay Bucks. But yeah, man, if we can't generate pass rush, I know we don't want to give up first rounders. But I think that's something that we're going to end up having to do if we want to get one of these guys who can consistently get to the quarterback along with Judon. That way you can't double team anybody. If we get a Myles Garrett and a Matt Judon on a 3rd and long, who are you going to double? It doesn't really matter because somebody is getting back there. Somebody's going to wreak havoc. They're going to move the quarterback off his spot. And more than likely, if they get close enough to him, they're going to finish the tackle. So I think that's something that we definitely have to improve on. I think that's something that we got to consider, considering the trade deadline is coming up. And I think that's something that I would be willing to give up a 1st-round pick for if we want to be contenders. That's only if we want to be. If we just chilling, I ain't even mad. I came into this season with 0 expectations whatsoever. When it came to the Falcons, because I know new coach, new system, new coordinators on both sides, new quarterback. We had the pieces around that, but the chemistry thing had to it takes time to gel, and I'm okay with that. A lot of the times people are overreact over this loss. I'm not overreacting, but I'm going to call it what it is. We got embarrassed. We are not ready to be contenders, and until we're able to get some pressure on that quarterback, we won't be ready to be contenders. We did have Michael Penix sighting, as I stated before. I think that's awesome. But a little part of me was wondering why they didn't allow, I guess injuries, you could say that. But I want to see what Mike Penix looks like with Bijan in the backfield consistently, along with Pitts and Drake and Mooney, to see if that guy can look anything like he looked when he was in Washington. That's something for another day. But definitely let's talk about what's coming up next. As I stated, division on the line, rematch, 10/27, 1 p.m. Sunday, us against those Bucks. If you remember the last game, look down in the lower third on the left, Kadaro Hodge, game-winning touchdown in overtime after we drove down, spiked the ball with 1 second left, and tied the game at the end of regulation. It was a great, thrilling Thursday night game. For them Thursday night games, they've been garbage up until this one. But it's really, really hard. I tell everybody this. It's really, really hard to beat a team twice in a season, especially a division team. However, the football gods have given us grace. Get well to these guys. Mike Evans won't be playing. Chris Godwin won't be playing for the rest of the season. So that gives Baker some new targets that he has to consistently throw to. Otten has been good this year. He's been catching the ball over the middle, which is what Noah Fant killed us on this past week. So we still have to watch out for them. But come on, man. No receivers. We have to win this game. This game can pretty much put a stranglehold. We already have the tiebreaker against them. If we go 2 games up, it just looks better for when it's time to the end of the season, and those head-to-head matchups will matter. Yeah, that's what we got coming up next. I will be talking about some post-game stuff. Definitely on Sundays, I'm going to be going live. I'm going to put the number up here so people can call in. I will be streaming from Man Down Sports, at least for the first couple of weeks, maybe consistently. I'm not sure, but definitely on the Bird's Eye View Pod channel on YouTube. I appreciate it. Feels good to be back finally. I'm definitely going to be consistent. Matter of fact, the Hawks got a game coming up. It's late here, so later today, actually. And I may do some post game on that. Just come in and chop it up with anybody who's a Hawks fan. Definitely putting out consistent content. I'm gonna be doing some shorts. But yeah, man, stick with your boy, man. We definitely gonna go up this season. This your boy, Man Down Zoe from Man Down Sports Full Panel Friday. But this is Bird's Eye View Pod. I'm out. Peace.